Hi, I'm with Nycki, and
Hi.
I'll be asking her multiple questions on addiction, mainly drug and alcohol, and how that has impacted her life. So, first question, what does addiction mean to you?
Addiction to me, all right, according to the NA, which is the Narcotics Anonymous Traditions, it states that very simply, addict is a man or a woman whose life is controlled by drugs. We're people in the grip of a continuing and progressing illness whose ends are always the same in jails, institutions, or death. No lie. Um, I guess in my words, it would be, we're all sick people, and we're stuck in a very dark place when it happens, and I don't know where to go with this.
That an addiction is a disease, others believe it's a choice. What do you think and why?
Um, that's actually a good question. There's a lot of controversy over that. Yes, it is a choice at first. It's your choice to pick up that drug or take that drink, or that's your choice. But being an addict after that, it's not our choice. Our brain functions differently, and it's not our choice. It becomes our way to live. We have to have it to live. Kind of like you need air or you need food, you need drugs, and you'll go to any cost to get them drugs to supply that need.
Well, in um, my psych class, we were talking about addictions, and it said most start with like a traumatic experience to a person. Do you feel like that's true, or do you think it's just something inherited, or something that people just kind of develop?
Um, I think it's kind of a little bit of all of that. Like alcoholism is proven to be genetic. So alcohol is a drug. Therefore, they're an addict, and therefore any addict has that trait. Um, for me, it was, just some of the, yeah, it was traumatic things that I went through that caused me to start drinking, and then after that, start drugs or whatever it was to help numb that pain and take away that pain, you know.
So obviously drugs and alcohol will affect your judgment, thoughts, feelings, um, and can make you do decisions that you wouldn't have in a sober state. Do you feel like that's true with everyone, or if that's like a specific thing like certain people?
Um, I don't honestly know how to answer that because I don't know how other people feel
Right.
or how other people react. I know that me personally, that they did. They made me do things that in my right state of mind I would have never done. They made me hang out with people in my right state of mind I wouldn't ever even associate with. You know, um, there's like a lot of things that I've gone through and put my family through. I mean, I don't know how far you want me to go into this.
I mean, as far as you feel comfortable, I don't want to put you in a place where you're not.
um, I've watched drugs destroy lives, destroy everything. They they destroyed my life. I lost my home. I lost my kids. I lost my reputation. I ended up in jail. My husband was shot at and almost, could have been killed if that bullet hit him. Um, when I lived down in Florida, we were doing drugs and drinking. I mean, like cocaine was just normal down there. Like it was easier to get them going to the gas station and getting beer. And a friend of mine ended up stabbing my other friend like almost 100 times. He took a double-edged samurai sword and tried to gut him. Now he doesn't even know what happened, and he said, like in my right state of mind, I would have never done that. The guy was sleeping, and he just grabbed a knife and went nuts. I mean, just like the whole gun situation, like that was meth related. There was I don't even know, you know. Um, yeah. That gives you a little insight. I mean, that's just some things that I've personally been through, you know. When I was drinking when I was I was 19. I got an OWI. I was so drunk. They didn't even throw me in the drunk tank because the jails were full. They released me to a guy that was drunker than me. I woke up the next day, had no recollection of even getting arrested, and pulled fines out of my pocket. And I thought it was a big joke. You know? Who in their right state of mind? I actually turned around and chased the cops down because they didn't pull me over. Now tell me a person in their right state of mind is going to do that.
Right.
Especially after you've been drinking. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was one 420 I'll never want to go back to.
So, kind of along with that, like, some people are able to function, like, adequately and complete, like, jobs and if you're still in school and stuff of that nature. Were you able to keep up with living, like, an everyday life, or did it kind of alter your entire reality?
Kind of both, you know? I mean, I grew up in a family where drinking was normal, you know? To me, I thought people went to work so that after work they could drink. And that's what I started out doing. I never missed work. I was at work, you know, even no matter how hungover I was or the dumbest things, I honestly did go to work drunk before. And I mean, who does that too, you know?
Right.
I've watched people where they were able to go to work for a while and then it slowly slipped and then, you know, they weren't going to work. It's done that to me, you know. I end up late for work. I end up worrying about trying to go get my drugs instead of coming to work. Or
How do you believe, like, counseling and support groups or other treatments would help a person with an addiction or, like, while in recovery?
I think, you know, like meetings and all that treatment, unless you are ready to change, it's pointless. Because from my personal experience, I went to treatment last year, and I thought I was ready, you know, but throughout my treatment, you learn different cues and different little marks that, you know, when you're coming close to a relapse. And I even had some of them starting, you know, and then as the stress builds and builds and builds, you know, I personally, since I was a little kid, haven't been sober. So I don't know what it's like to be sober and try to remain sober. Affinity gave me that chance, and I was sober for a while. But after a while, all that stress, I relapsed. And during my relapse, I got further away from my kids, further away from my family. I lost a lot of friends again, you know. But one good thing about it is that I go to the AA meetings and the NA meetings, and they are very open to you. You know, you had a relapse, they don't care. They're there for you. You know, where you go to your family, you do them wrong, and it takes a while to build that trust back.
Right.
They open you with open arms, and they offer such a great support that it's amazing. I've never felt like this good in my entire life. You know, I thought I felt good after Affinity and everything, but I never felt as strong as I do now and as determined. You know, I'm only 3.5 months sober since my last relapse, but a lot of people don't even make it to that mark.
Right.
And I don't know. I guess, you know, like treatment, counseling, to me, the main thing is just if you want help to get out there and get the help. But if you're not ready, you can go there, you can learn all the tools, but you don't have your heart in it, it's not going to happen.
How do you know when you're ready?
I don't I guess, you know, every single person is different, and what
Right.
works for one person isn't gonna work for the next.
Right.
You know, like a lot of people, when they wanna use, they reach out to people, or they do this, or they do that. The thing that helps me is, the last time I used meth, I was so sick. I had some health issues going on, and when I did meth, I got so sick. And like every time I even have a think, I think I want to use, I think about that moment. And like with alcohol, I just think about the hangovers. Now that wouldn't work for, you know, Billy Joe down here that wants to get sober. She might need somebody there to talk her out of it, or, you know, it's like a big experiment is what it is. You know, it's trial and error to see what works and what doesn't work. I know that I'm working hard at becoming a better person. I can't tell you per se, I feel like I am, but I don't know for sure. You know, I'm working hard at getting the trust back with my family, with the social worker, trying to get my kids back, trying to prove to everybody that I can be a better person. I'm trying to move past all those things, that the traumatic things that I went through were ultimately the things that led me down that dark path, you know. And when you're on that dark path, there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
You know, I don't know how many times I tried to kill myself. I felt like there was absolutely no end, and there was no way life was gonna get better. And, you know, sobering up and just seeing what other people have, you know, like when I go to a meeting and I see how happy, how much serenity them people have, just peace and happiness, you know, yeah, they go through bad times, they talk about it, and they move on. And that's something I want to learn to do, instead of holding on to that anger, that hurt, that everything, that just, the demons that pull you right back in.
Do you have any advice that you would give someone who thinks they might, like, that they think they're becoming an addict, or just any advice in general for people who have problems dealing with certain things?
Reach out. I mean, if you go online, Facebook has support groups for heroin, for meth, for suicide, for anything, any kind of problem you're going through. There is somebody out there that has a similar story. You know, that was one thing I learned at Affinity, was I thought, like, nobody's been through what I've been through. You don't understand. You know what? Out of the 12 people that were in that room, one of them had been through something close to what I had. Every single thing that I've gone through, somebody else has had a similar situation. And it's nice to be able to reach out to somebody. If you're suffering like from addiction, or you know, suicidal thoughts, or just anything, if you're just depressed, reach out to somebody. There's somebody out there that's willing to help. You know, don't let that drag you down.
Okay. So, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.